Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. Freemasonry.
Freemasonry. A masonry consists of fraternal organizations that trace their origins to the local fraternities of stonemasons, which, from the end of the 14th century, regulated the qualifications of stonemasons and their interaction with authorities and clients. The degrees of Freemasonry retain the three grades of medieval craft guilds, those of Apprentice, Journeyman, Fellow, and Master Mason. These are the degrees offered by Craft Freemasonry.
Members of these organizations are known as Freemasons and Masons. There are additional degrees, which vary with locality and jurisdiction, and are usually administered by different bodies. Then the craft degrees. The basic, local organizational unit of Freemasonry is the lodge. The lodges are usually supervised and governed at the regional level by a Grand Lodge or Grand Orient. There is no international, worldwide Grand Lodge that supervises all of Freemasonry. Each Grand Lodge is independent, and they do not necessarily recognize each other as being legitimate.
Modern Freemasonry broadly consists of two main recognition groups. Regular Freemasonry insists that a volume of scripture is open in a working lodge, that every member profess belief in a supreme being, that no women are admitted, and that the discussion of religion and politics is banned.
Continental Freemasonry is now the general term for liberal jurisdictions who have removed some, or all, of these restrictions.
Masonic Lodge. The Masonic Lodge is the basic organizational unit of Freemasonry. The lodge meets regularly to conduct the usual formal business of any smaller organization. In addition to business, the meeting may perform a ceremony to confer a Masonic degree or receive a lecture, which is usually on some aspect of Masonic history or ritual. At the conclusion of the meeting, the lodge might adjourn for a formal dinner, or festive board, sometimes involving toasting and song. The bulk of Masonic ritual consists of degree ceremonies. Candidates for Freemasonry are progressively initiated into Freemasonry, first in the degree of entered apprentice. Some time later, in a separate ceremony, they will be passed to the degree of fellow craft, and finally they will be raised to the degree of Master Mason. In all of these ceremonies, the candidate is entrusted with passwords, signs and grips peculiar to his new rank.
Another ceremony is the annual installation of the master and officers of the lodge. In some jurisdictions, installed master is valued as a separate rank, with its own secrets to distinguish its members. In other jurisdictions, the grade is not recognized, and no inner ceremony conveys new secrets during the installation of a new master of the lodge. Most lodges have some sort of social calendar, allowing Masons and their partners to meet in a less ritualized environment. Often coupled with these events is the obligation placed on every Mason to contribute to charity. This occurs at both Lodge and Grand Lodge level. Masonic charities contribute to many fields, from education to disaster relief. These private local lodges form the backbone of Freemasonry, and a Freemason will necessarily have been initiated into one of these. There also exist specialist lodges where Masons meet to celebrate anything from sport to Masonic research. The rank of Master Mason also entitles a Freemason to explore Masonry further through other degrees, administered separately from the Craft, or Blue Lodge, degrees described here, but having a similar format to their meetings. There is very little consistency in Freemasonry. Because each Masonic jurisdiction is independent, each sets its own procedures. The wording of the ritual, the number of officers present, the layout of the meeting room, etc., varies from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. The officers of the lodge are elected
or appointed annually. Every Masonic lodge has a master, 2 wardens, a secretary, and a treasurer. There is also a tyler, or outer guard, who is always present, outside the door of a working lodge.
Other officers vary between jurisdictions. Each Masonic lodge exists and operates according to a set of ancient principles known as the landmarks of Freemasonry. These principles have thus far eluded any universally accepted definition.
Joining a lodge. Candidates for Freemasonry will have met most active members of the lodge they are joining before they are initiated. The process varies between jurisdictions, but the candidate will typically have been introduced by a friend at a lodge social function, or at some form of open evening in the lodge. In modern times, interested people often track down a local lodge through the internet. The onus is on candidates to ask to join, while candidates may be encouraged to ask, they are never invited. Once the initial inquiry is made, an interview usually follows to determine the candidate's suitability. If the candidate decides to proceed from here, the lodge ballots on the application before he can be accepted. The absolute minimum requirement of any body of Freemasons is that the candidate must be free and considered to be of good character. There is usually an age requirement, varying greatly between Grand Lodges, and capable of being overridden by a dispensation from the Grand Lodge. The underlying assumption is that the candidate should be a mature adult. In addition, most Grand Lodges require the candidate to declare a belief in a supreme being. In a few cases, the candidate may be required to be of a specific religion. The form of Freemasonry most common in Scandinavia, for example, accepts only Christians. At the other end of the spectrum, liberal or continental Freemasonry, exemplified by the Grand Orient de France, does not require a declaration of belief in any deity, and accepts atheists. During the ceremony of initiation, the candidate is expected to swear to fulfill certain obligations as a Mason. In the course of 3 degrees, new Masons will promise to keep the secrets of their degree from lower degrees and outsiders, and to support a fellow Mason in distress. There is instruction as to the duties of a Freemason, but on the whole, Freemasons are left to explore the craft in the manner they find most satisfying. Some will further explore the ritual and symbolism of the craft, others will focus their involvement on the social side of the lodge, while still others will concentrate on the charitable functions of the lodge.
Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.